Hello everyone and welcome to episode 20 of the Bikini Bomber Tour. In the last episode we took a look at everything else, and this episode we're going to take a look back to the past and show you the Chum Bucket that I built in beta 1.8 with my friend. So as I said before in my season 1 of the Bikini Bottom, I attempted to build the Bikini Bottom in the early versions of Minecraft, in the beta stages, like beta 1.8, 1.9, 1.0. Well, I don't think there was a beta 1.9. There was a 1.0, but anyways, we decided to try to build a Bikini Bottom. We didn't go to as much extent as I'm doing now, but we decided to build like the famous buildings, how many we can, and we built quite a bit. We built Spongebob's house, Krusty Krab, Sandy's house. Well, Sunny's house looks awful. I'll probably never show that. But I built quite a bit, and this ended up being one of my favorite builds, I think. The Chum Bucket from back then. As you can see, it's of course a lot different. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I kind of did something similar in season 1 of Bikini Bottom. I showed you the old Krusty Krab instead, which is not this, on a different world. But I showed the old Krusty Krab, and so I decided to, why not for season 2, show you the old Chum Bucket, because that what makes sense. So I'm showing you it now. And of course, back then, beta 1.8, it was the old Minecraft. The full version of Minecraft was about to be released. Blocks were limited. And of course, this is one of my favorite updates because it introduced creative mode. I remember how excited I was when that was introduced, because before that, you had to use mods. And I played Minecraft like a few months before this update, before beta 1.8, so it was I was so excited for that update. So now I can build all these builds in creative mode without having to mine them. Alright, not nilly daddy, let's get started. Alright, so this is the Chum Bucket. As you can see, it's made of white wool and blue wool. That was the primary colors because the fish was blue and the bucket itself was this kind of tan color, and of course since blocks were limited, we decided to use white blocks because that's what was the most accurate, and I think this is what would say the most this is the Chum Bucket, without a doubt. I think we also could use like a light gray block, which would have been my preference if I was building this today. I think that looks a little bit better, but I think we decided on white wool blocks. Keep in mind, I was very new to Minecraft at the time, so I didn't know better. But I definitely would have used gray blocks, a grayer block. But yeah, but this is our final product. Of course, a lot smaller than my current build. And of course, back then, the walls were built out the black wool instead of coal blocks or blackstone. Alright, let's head inside. Of course, CH stands for Chum Bucket in red letters. This is the dining hall. So you may have noticed, compared to my newer build, this actually follows the similar layout floor plan. And this floor plan was pretty accurate as well, because there was a window right there, the ordering window, and there was the entrance to the lab right on the left side of the corner. Well, it could be his bedroom, but I think it was the lab. Very similar to his today, except on a more detailed and bigger scale. Like, this is tiny compared to what I have. Of course, one big thing was missing. It was the Chum cabins. That was the big thing. That was the biggest downside. The only real thing that was really missing. And the reason why they added it is simply because we didn't think of adding it. And I'm not even sure if the episode was even out yet, so that's why there's no Chum cabins. Sad, but oh well. Of course, the floor was built out of iron blocks to distinguish from the walls. This is the laboratory. Now, originally, I had a plan to making cabin take up the whole space, but we decided against it, or at least he did, because you couldn't really see it from back there, and it just made the thing kind of weird and kind of grand. So we decided against it. Although I can see why. It would just not look as good, I think, but whatever. This is Karen, the computer life of Plankton. Here's some tools, lab equipment, all that good sciencey stuff. Some storage, and of course a back door. And it's night out, oh dear. If you go in here, this is the kitchen, stove, sink, fridge, freezer, whatever you need to for a sink to operate. And of course, this is where you would take orders from customers. Well, if there is customers from Chum Bucket. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. There's not much to say, except it's empty, and it's, very, detailed. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to go to Minecraft 1.7 or whatever map that I have saved currently to show you my 1.7 version of the Chum Bucket. Because in that version, I decided to build, well, first of all, I started a new world, built from scratch, and my Chum Bucket ended up being much more bigger. And the reason why is because in the show, the Chum Bucket is much bigger outside than what you see from, much bigger inside than what you see from outside. So I decided to kind of go bigger the scale and hope that it's, representative of the Chum Bucket. But I'd be able to keep everything inside at the right scale. Alright. Let's go to Minecraft 1.7 or whatever version we'll go in right now. Hello and welcome to my 1.7 version of the Chum Bucket. Crap, Enderman. Whoa. And you guys might remember this map from, well, this Chum Bucket from Season 1. And this is because I actually, this was actually part of my, Season 1 build. So you can check that out. It's actually the first ever episode that I uploaded. So this is pretty much how it looks like. It's significantly much bigger. And you can tell I stuck very true to the cylinder shape. As you can see, I would say I will venture to say it's a little bit worse because you know, I decided to not do blue up top there, and of course the handle was not real. I would say not as well done as compared to my older version. So I will not say this is better, but it's definitely more massive, which means nothing, but you'll see from inside what I'm talking about. Well, whatever. Oh, yeah, of course, the streets were made out of coal, and like I said before, a few seconds ago, this is actually my Season 1 map, so you can actually check this out yourself. And this is the lobby. You can see I kind of kept the same floor plan, except it's of course bigger. I have a high ceiling and all that. Dining area, seating, this is more where you order. So you can see some strategy has changed with more blocks. You get some more thingies. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is Minecraft 1.13 because no, I don't have this on 1.7 anymore apparently. But anyways, this is the dining area, seating area. As you can see, there's actually not that much added, honestly, compared to what you would think. And then of course you have the laboratory. I think the laboratory turned out amazing. Definitely want to build bigger builds, better builds. Because this carrying the computer wife, he's much bigger, or she's much bigger, I should say. Of course, got all that lab stuff there. Pistons. I remember how big a deal that was when they were added in. Of course, you have the Nether portal. Scary. This is where Plankton get all his evilness and all that. And of course, two things. Okay, first is the kitchen. You can see it's much more advanced than before. Netherrack, there's a chair in here for some reason. So because I didn't want it to look exactly like it, I kind of want to add new stuff. I decided to add Plankton's room. It appeared in one episode. Remember the holographic meatloaf and all that? Yep, that's that. And of course you have the bedroom where Plankton takes a shower, I guess. And the reason why I kind of zooming past this a little bit is because I kind of want to show you this in that episode, so you can check that out if you want to see more stuff. Of course, down there we have the Chunk Cabin. So I'm not gonna go down into it because I kind of just want to get to the main point. I kind of see how my build has evolved over the past 10 years at this point. I think 10 years, yeah. So yep, this is a Chum Bucket. I would say it looks a little worse than the old one. But I can see how my build has improved after a while. Although I will still say this is probably my biggest build at this point. One of my biggest builds that was actually kind of big. Keep in mind, I didn't really use world edit that much, so you know I had to build all this by hand. Considering that, I think this looks actually kind of good. But now let's go even further into the future to Minecraft 1.18. Well, technically 1.16 to take a look at my newest Chum Bucket. Welcome to my newest version. This is the 1.18 version of the Chum Bucket, which I built in Minecraft, I believe 1.16 or 17, but I have to check on that again because it's been a while since I built this. But yeah, this is the newest version, and what I pretty much did was I renovated the 1.7 one and kind of add some new clay I double the walls, and it kind of add much more of a unique shape to it. Of course, in the Chum Bucket in the show, there's no blue strips running around. But I think since Minecraft is more limited compared to, hand drawing it, it was definitely worth adding some more extra detail to the Chum Bucket. Make it much more realistic. And of course, the handle looked much more better. This is what I wish I'd done in the 1.7 version, but somehow I didn't because it was just a massive build and kind of give up on building handle. I'll be honest, that's what happened. And you can see the new roads, which I love so much. Alright, let's get started. So, I'm not gonna go too much into detail with this, but I began doubling my buildings so I can add a extra layer of wallpaper or paint on the inside instead of just doing the exterior wall as it. So that's kind of what I did here. And if I kind of remove these, you can see clearly how I did it. Of course, it makes the building a little bit bigger, but I think it's worth it to add that extra to 2 layers of blocks so you can have unique details inside. And because I found the doors kind of like this kind of odd, I decided to kind of separate them and add this whole wooden canopy over it. Just because. And you can see it's a lot more detail. The walls are detailed, even the roof is a new color to just clay blocks, or in my 1.7 block version there was like nothing. So we fixed that up. Of course, the menu, the Chum cabins, the dining room is here. Of course, we have the laboratory, and you can really see the similarities to my 1.7 version. Sorry if that portal's too loud, by the way. If you go in here, this is the kitchen. I would say very much the same format as before. And of course, you have Plankton's room up there, which I didn't really touch either, except for the paint job. As you can see how much more imaginary I am with. Of course, the back door is still there, but you can see how much more imaginary I am with my builds now. I added stuff that were not really immediately obvious, and applied to here, and I think that really make the Chum Bucket and Minecraft look a lot better than before. So in general, I would say my 1.7 version was lower quality than my older one, I would say. Simply because I was so much more focused on the size and then actually how it looks like, which is a bad feeling, which I learned in this map. So I would say this is definitely the superior version of all 2 of them, the last 2 of them. So props on me. Anyway, that does it really. Thanks everyone, and I catch you in the next one. Take care and have a good night.